Michael, day 2 of the World Amateur Team Championship, Poland. We're approaching the last event, the MTT in the series. Poland currently at 50 points. You're 18 points off Italy, who are in the lead at the moment. Before we talk about how far you think Poland can go, can you talk us through sort of the tournament so far, how you found it?
Yeah, well, we're here for the third time. We were lucky enough to win the first one. We were lucky enough to finish nearly bottom last time, so I think it's a champion's curse, which the Welsh are experiencing this time. And 3 years running, it's been a great event. Teams change slightly, but everybody who comes enjoys the atmosphere. It's fun, it's very competitive, and it's a very good standard of play for an invitational friendly tournament where, you know, it's enjoyable. You're not playing for money, really, you're playing for points. It's completely different to any other tournament because really you just don't want to exit first because you're letting the team down. I've just experienced myself for the first time in 3 years a 0. I scored for the team, and it's a horrible feeling. So luckily Ian just won a table, our first win this year, which saved us from being last at this stage. But it's a great event. It's really, this year slightly different, kind of a new structure. We're still going to see how that affects us. It actually gives us a chance this time because we, like you said, we're 18 points behind, but there's huge points up for grabs in the MTT. I think last year or 2 years ago, with 18 points behind, with a round of sit and goes, you're probably done and dusted. This year it's, I think everybody's in it. There's 20 points separating the top 13 teams, so everybody's in with a shout. Plenty of points to play for. If you get lucky and get 4 players in the points, you never know what might happen. So I think there's going to be a lot of calculations. A lot of captains will have to do a lot of hard work.
So do you think with that amount of pressure on board, because there is a lot of pressure in this, it's very much an honour type event, it's about trying to win for your country and your teammates, do you think will it make it hard to play the MTT, i.e. you do not want to exit, you want to make the points, or can you be aggressive early and try and gather points and go for...
A lot of players who, first of all, will be really calm on the first levels, play only big hands. They'll want to try and make it to the points and get aggressive afterwards. And I think the more experienced players, or the ones who really need points from the teams below, that will think, well, I need big points, or I can exit early because it doesn't really matter if I get 2 points, I need 20 points. They might get aggressive and try and pick, especially on the teams like Germany and Italy who are at the top, because they'll know that those players will be targeting at least a 10-point finish, because obviously if 4 players from the leaders score 10 points, it'll be hard to beat. So I think we'll find that the teams from the bottom might get a bit more aggressive and a bit more loose, whereas some players will tighten up. But you never know. You never know because, if a player from a top team gets hands one after another, he's going to play, he's going to build up a chip stack. And once you have a chip stack, it doesn't really matter if how many points you need. If you have a chip stack, it's that much easier to play. I think it's a very interesting formula for this year because of the MTT at the end. You have to obviously try and accumulate as many points in sit and goes, and if you've got a lead, you're in a better position than any team that's at the bottom, but you're still vulnerable, much more vulnerable than you were last year or 2 years ago, which really means that you can't let it drop. You've got to focus, and unfortunately 1 or 2 bad beats can turn even a very good performance up to date into a very poor result in the end.
In the European Amateur Team Championship that you guys won 2 years ago, you received an awful lot of good press, so Polish websites, magazines. What would it mean to you to win again?
It's an amazing feeling to win, especially since I think we came here, nobody knew us really. We were, apart from marching, I think all of us had maybe a couple of APAT events under the belt. It was only Edinburgh that I played before I played in the team event, so we were definitely underdogs, or the unknowns anyways. It was an amazing feeling to win. Especially after a playoff, I think the emotions there were even bigger.
Sorry, that was with France?
Yeah, that was with France. I don't know what the emotions would be in an MTT. When you're constantly calculating and somebody's telling you if you're still in with a shout, or what do you have to do to actually, how many points you have to try and get, and so on. It's just that the longer the MTT is going to go on, the more pressure is going to heap on some of the teams that are in, players that are still in, and the teams that are still playing. The pressure is going to heap, and when you win, that pressure kind of falls off your shoulders, and it just releases such enormous joy. The pressure lifts, and the satisfaction is enormous. It's just brilliant, and to win it a second time in 3 years, I don't know, it'd be amazing. We've got a hard job to. We're looking at having to place probably 3 people in the top 10 or 12 to have a chance to win it, because we basically have to outplay every other team. But to win it 2 times out of 3 would be an absolutely amazing feeling, I think.
Well, having seen you guys play, it's definitely not beyond you. Very, very best of luck to Team Poland this evening.
Thanks very much, Des. Thanks very much.